Hey guys, this is a Bonaire SW series, another one. I have two of these things now. This one I actually got out of a house that I did work on. It was a light renovation. Basically they painted all of the walls, all of the ceilings, and had new light fittings and light switches and power points put in. And in the original plan, this fan was going to be staying there. It was at the very top, or not very top, but it was close to the top of a probably, how high would it have been? 15-foot ceiling. It was up really high in this big house on a raked ceiling, which is why it's on a clipsal mounting bracket and canopy, because these originally have a bell canopy J-hook mount, but obviously it was on the vaulted ceiling, and back in the day, you could purchase just the mounting bracket, ball and canopy from Eclipsal Airflow, the older SMC design. And I actually got to turn this fan down. And to use J-hook fans on raked ceilings, you could buy that mounting hardware just from Eclipsal Airflow. So that's why it has that on it. I am going to be converting it back to J-hook, but I'm going to be keeping it on the long down rod. Unless I want to install it in this shed. Eventually, whenever I have my own place, I'd like to have a garage with a really high ceiling and have one or two fans on long down rods like this hanging, but that's in the future. We'll go ahead and start it on low, and I'll tell you why this fan nearly fell in its previous life. By the way, it's just on the HPM XL 3-speed controllers from the mid-90s. This fan's from 1994. I do have the original controller, but it was too difficult to hook it up, so it's just running on HPM. These HPM controllers give a nice range of speeds on a lot of fans though, so that's good. Anyway, yeah, so this fan was in this house that was getting renovated. It was on this really high ceiling, and the painter, who we actually know, told us, because he got up close to this fan, because he was obviously painting the ceiling, so they brought in a scaffold and set up a scaffold for him, and when he was up there he bumped the fan. Also, just a quick side note, the ceiling was so steep that the Clipsal Airflow mounting hardware didn't actually have enough degrees of angle to let the fan hang straight, so it actually hung on a slight angle. I don't know if I have a photo of it hanging on the slight angle, but the combination of that and the fact that this downrod is an original Bonaire downrod and not a Clipsal downrod, the ball in the, if any of you know how fans mount, actually I have a Clipsal ball. I won't get it right now. Basically the ball broke. It cracked on one side. I believe it cracked on two sides. So the ball was just sitting up there. Obviously the fan was still being held up with the ball, but the ball was broken. I'm just trying to get one out here because I have a spare. I don't have a mounting bracket to show you, but basically this is what's up there, up in the top of that fan. There's this little ball, and it sits in a mounting bracket sort of like that. And then the canopy goes over it like that. And basically what happened was that ball broke on both sides. So it was in two pieces up there. I think it was a combination of we'll put it onto medium while I'm still talking. It was a combination of the fact that the ceiling was on too extreme of an angle, so the fan was basically constantly resting on the ball, stressing it. And then when the painter got up there, he bumped it, and the ball fell out. Well, I don't know if, both sides of the ball fell out when he bumped it, and the fan dropped. It was scaffolding, so it didn't have far to fall at that point. But it didn't, I don't know if it actually did fall. I actually think it might have, because the bottom of the motor's all scratched up. So it would have landed on his scaffolding. But if his scaffolding wasn't there, and if the fan was probably used more in its life, it definitely would have fallen from that high ceiling And he just sat it up there because obviously the pin was still, because there's like a metal pin that goes through. You can see it in there, the metal pin that goes across the ball to stop it sliding up the top. That was still in there, so he rested that on the bracket, so the fan was still up there. But if that fan got turned on at that point, which it wouldn't have because it was disconnected, but it would have definitely fallen. So that's a bit of interesting history with this fan. It almost fell in its previous life. That thing's going to be getting replaced. It's a Bonaire. And the ball up there is broken. So if that fan, and it's barely sitting up there, if that fan even budges, it's going to fall. So that needs addressed. But yeah, putting up this thing. I will be converting it to J-hook, but just for the sake of the video and keeping the fan 100% original to its original install, I left it up there, but I've put another SMC ball in there because I have a couple of SMC spare balls from SMC Wattmasters that I parted out because they were brush painted, just with house paint. Like this one here was from an SMC. So yeah, that's just a little bit on the previous life of this fan. It almost fell. I've got photos of it in its original install. I'll put up as many as I can. I don't know if I have one of it being on the extreme angle, because once the ball fell out and it was just resting on the pin, it was hanging straight down. We'll go ahead and put it onto high speed. I believe this one's 56 inch. I haven't measured it. I will measure it and put it in the title of the video. But I believe this one is, oh, that's the wrong controller. I apologize. There we go, high speed. I will put photos of the original of the fan's original install in that house on that super high ceiling. This thing hauls ass. Spins very fast. Moves a decent amount of air. We'll go ahead and do spin down. This was the only fan in that house for a while. They added a vent air, like a modern vent air, in one of the bedrooms, but for the longest time, this was the only fan in that house, and it was up in that high ceiling. I will be putting J-hook mounting and a bell canopy back on this long down rod though. So let me know if you want me to make a remake of this fan with the bell canopy, the J-hook mount bell canopy, once I do that conversion. But I wanted it to be original to its original install for this video. Oh, and that reminds me, the down rod, what I said before about it being a Bonaire down rod and not a Clipsal down rod, I know that because when I put this spare SMC ball in there so that I could hang it on the original mounting for this video, that ball cracked on one side, only on one side though. And it's obviously not on the extreme angle, so the ball doesn't have any stress on it. But yeah, that makes me think that's one of the reasons, the extreme angle and the fact that the down rod's too thick for the SMC balls, because it cracked when I put it on. I don't think the fan was used much in its previous life though, because there's a lot of dust on top of the blades. I haven't cleaned it yet, and not much on the bottom. There's a little bit, so it was obviously used some, but and it has a good spin down, so the bearings are nice and I'd say well used. They don't make any noise, but they're obviously very free spinning, so. Okay, just before I finish up this video, I'll quickly show you the label. There's the Bonaire label on the lower canopy, and somewhere up in here, there it is the label you can see. Oh, you can't really see it too well. SW series by Bonaire. So yeah, I will measure this fan and put the actual size of it in the title. But yeah, we'll do a quick 0 to high as well. I try to do those, but I don't always remember. Okay, let me know if you want me to make a video of it with the J-hook mounting with the bell canopy. It'll still be on this long down rod. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.